This just happened, everyone. In front of the entire world, on the court, Angel Reese has officially lost it. Angel lost it at a break, began yelling at the referees, flung her headband, kicked over a chair, and then rushed off the floor before the final buzzer, turning what had begun as a heated game into a total meltdown. Everything was captured on camera. The audience fell silent. And now, the Chicago Sky has suspended and fined her. The twist is that it goes beyond what actually occurred in the game. The staff is in complete crisis mode behind the scenes. The locker room is reportedly on fire, with players turning on one another, coaches pressuring for clarification, and Angel, she is not going to back down. She is fully committed. The front desk of Sky is rushing. The league is startled, and admirers, they are caught between standing up for their queen and insisting that she take the fallout. Is more than simply drama. This is a complete breakdown, and it's possible that the Angel Reese era is unraveling more quickly than anyone anticipated. It's best that you all buckle up. This is only the beginning of the story, and believe me, the worst is yet to come. Angel Reese was thrust into the WNBA, not merely drafted into it. The league was altered the instant she was on the floor in a Chicago Sky uniform. She was the subject of constant media attention. She was either worshipped or despised by her fans. And whether you like her or not, Angel knew just how to keep her in the spotlight. She entered the league determined to disprove all of the skeptics, and she appeared to be doing just that for a time. Double-doubles, simple, talking trash, elite swagger, unrivaled. She was brash, self-assured, ostentatious, and unrepentant. She took control of the game with every slam, shout, and stare down. However, something more sinister was simmering beneath the grins and photo opportunities. Coworkers discussed stress in whispers. Coaches appeared irritated. Additionally, insiders began to leak minor facts, such as conflicts in the film room, disagreements during practice, and even allegations that Angel was to coach. Some dismissed these as the growing pains of being a rookie. Others, they claimed, that the pressure will eventually erupt. The rivalry followed. Angel versus Caitlin Clark became the storyline of the season. Every time they played, the whole basketball world held its breath, TV ratings jumped, and ticket sales skyrocketed. However, those games were emotional conflicts as much as combat. They spoke to each other. The elbows soared. What about Angel? She accepted the position of the antagonist. She desired the smoke. Her statistics, however, were more powerful than any headline. She was putting up statistics most rookies only dream of. She was scoring 12 points and pulling out 11 rebounds a game. However, every game also featured sideline glares, technical fouls, and emotional outbursts that left everyone wondering, is she acting irrationally? The breaking point follows. There was already a great deal of tension in the dressing room. In recent contests, the club had been losing more games than winning. The crowd was jeering. There were reporters all around. What about Angel? Her voice was growing louder. Clapping in the faces of coaches, eye rolls at meetings. On the bench, shouting bouts, and even surveillance cameras recorded fragments. Sources say what was happening behind closed doors was many times worse. Then came the turning point. A game that was broadcast nationally, a close score, and a meltdown so intense that the league was forced to take action. The Chicago Sky organization is currently in crisis mode after Angel Reese was formally suspended and fined. What transpired during that pause? Who betrayed whom? What implications does have for Angel's league future? You all. This is no longer simply about basketball. On the evening of July 7th, there was more than just a meltdown. There was a full-scale explosion inside that arena. The Chicago Sky and Washington Mystics were playing a close game. Tensions had been rising for weeks, and emotions were running high. However, nobody anticipated what happened next. During a stoppage, late in the third quarter, when the Sky were only a few points behind, Angel Reese bounded off the floor. Cameras panned in. Supporters held their breath. Then it took place. Reese didn't hesitate as assistant coach Tyler Marsh came forward holding a clipboard. She slapped it from his hand in a single, forceful gesture. With a thunderous smack that reverberated throughout the arena, the clipboard went flying into the air and crashed on the ground. The bench went cold. The audience let out a gasp. Additionally, the event was broadcast live on national television. It was anger, not just annoyance. Unadulterated fury. A leaked source inside the company said that Reese had already been furious about the coaching choices, team rotations, and what she perceived to be disrespect, but this was a very different matter. Whatever tenuous equilibrium remained in the sky was shattered by that one act. Reporters crowded the locker room right after the game, but Reese was nowhere to be seen. Before the last buzzer, she had departed the building. The coaching staff, however, fell silent. Nobody wanted to speak. Nobody wanted to acknowledge what had just occurred. However, the harm was already done. Video footage of the outburst became viral within hours. Social media took off. Supporters argued over whether she was entirely inappropriate or justified. Alongside her name, the terms toxic, unprofessional, and disrespect started to trend. Then came the meeting that was intended to be held behind closed doors. A team source leaked what was said. "We can't let this slide. Either the locker room or Angel. This team is going to be lost." The decision was made in an instant. The Chicago Sky made a brief but startling announcement early on July 8. Angel Reese would receive a fine and an indefinite suspension for actions that were harmful to the team. No other information. "I'm not sorry." No justifications. However, this is where things get even more sinister. According to some insiders, this was not the first outburst. Unreported disputes at practice, yelling matches with teammates, and even an altercation during a recent film session that resulted in players leaving the room are all examples of the pattern. And here's the thing. A few players had already warned management that things were getting out of hand weeks prior. They were terrified of losing the locker room completely, not just of losing games. This was not an isolated incident. Months of stress and underlying animosity reached a breaking point. The Chicago Sky's former face, Angel Reese, is currently out due to a lack of faith from the organization rather than an injury. However, if you believed that the commotion would end there, you should reconsider, as the subsequent release completely altered the situation. What happened next exploded like a bomb planted. If the punishment startled the WNBA community, anonymous leaks started appearing on fan pages, burner accounts, and even private message boards that WNBA insiders frequented within 24 hours after Angel Reese was formally suspended. These posts weren't your typical gossip. These were frightening, unvarnished, and detailed. Among the messages was one that said, "For weeks, Angel has been shouting at employees." She didn't slap that clipboard first. It was merely the first item that was captured on camera. Another asserted, "The team meeting descended into a brawl. A gamer burst out in tears. Coach Marsh is powerless." However, the audio leaky's real audio came next. Hours before the Mystics game, a moment was captured on camera inside the locker room. One sentence breaks through the initial muted voices with terrifying clarity. "I'm the only one battling for this squad, but you guys keep pointing the finger at me. Get out of my path if you can't match my intensity." That voice, corroborated by insiders. Angel was the one. You can hear an older teammate try to calm her down in that recording, but Reese shouted her down after accusing several players of coasting and hiding behind the system. The source claims that the argument got so heated that players refused to talk to Reese after the game. They lost respect in addition to trust. The front desk was astounded. This wasn't just a sentimental celebrity who had a rough evening. Every moment of this locker room implosion was being watched by the entire country. All at once, rumors of a rebellion began to circulate. A reporter was informed by an unidentified source from the Sky organization. If Angel wasn't penalized, we had players threatening to skip games. There was a complete uprising. The suspension was a matter of survival rather than merely punishment. In an attempt to control the fallout, Chicago Sky's public relations staff went into overdrive that same evening. However, it was too late. Reaction videos, lip-read analyses of the timeout event, and phony messages posing as leaked group chat conversations amongst Sky teammates were all over Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit. One widely shared bogus screenshot said, "I'm leaving if Reese enters this locker room once more." Legends of the WNBA even began to comment. A former MVP posted on Twitter, "One thing is passion, humiliation of your own team in public. That's a different matter entirely." Here's the twist, though the unexpected turn that nobody anticipated. Reese, Angel, answered. She didn't apologize on an Instagram Live that has since been removed. She refused to give up. She intensified her efforts. "Do you want me to be the antagonist? All right." However, Don't pretend that I'm the only one cheering for this squad. Supporters were divided. A few others applauded. Others were appalled. However, it was certain that Angel Reese would not pass away in silence. What about behind the scenes? The administration of Chicago Sky was in complete panic. They had to deal with more than just a suspension. They were in danger of disintegrating as a team. However, something even more explosive. The crew felt they had seen the worst. Upcoming industry and public reactions. The WNBA world exploded with excitement when Angel Reese's tirade went viral. Social media took off. Within hours, the hashtag Reese MELTDOWN became popular all around the world. Reactions from millions of fans on TikTok and Twitter ranged from outright anger to uncritical support. One tweet that went viral said, "I loved Angel Reese once, but that clip, that lacked enthusiasm. It was all ego." Conversely, Reese's ardent fans weren't going to back down. The only person who gives a damn is her. Throughout the season, the rest of the sky is dozing off. Another admirer added, "If a male player did this, they wouldn't say anything. Angel simply has a different build." The division followed. The question of whether Angel Reese is a misunderstood leader has been discussed constantly on podcasts and sports talk shows. Or cancer in the locker room. Tamika Rollins, a former WNBA champion and analyst, had a scathing opinion. "This goes beyond a simple outburst. Someone is unraveling here. And the Sky will lose not just games but also their identity if they don't gain control quickly." According to ESPN insiders, WNBA front office representatives spoke with Chicago Sky executives over a late-night emergency call to address the matter. The league was reportedly deeply concerned about Reese's actions and the general atmosphere of the squad. According to leaks from that call, sponsors started to perspire as well. According to a person close to a well-known sportswear company, her image is displayed on billboards. "Should this situation worsen, we will withdraw our campaign. We cannot be linked to anarchy." Rival players even joined in the discussion. On Instagram, Caitlin Clark that Caitlin shared a mysterious message, "Yelling is not as loud as leadership." It became a battleground in the comment area. Supporters said Clark was making fun of them. Some referred to it as truth. Some even pleaded for a rematch between Caitlin and Angel, but with punches rather than fouls. Media outlets started questioning Chicago Sky's front staff for answers as public pressure increased. However, the group fell silent. No news conference. Nothing to say, nothing except uncomfortable silence. And the controversy just got louder during that silence, because everyone was aware that a major event was still imminent. Whether another explosion would occur was not the question. Who would endure it, and when? Everything changed when a bombshell spilled from the Chicago Sky's own locker room, just as the public was starting to pick sides and the dust looked to be settling. A secret audio that was anonymously submitted to a sports blog claims that several Sky employees were heard discussing Angel Reese behind closed doors. What about the words, "Brutal. She is a distraction, not a leader. Every game, every timeout, every headline she makes it all about herself. We're tired of it." The league was shocked by the audio clip. The sounds were distinct, but no names were verified. Fans immediately began analyzing each and every phrase. Analysis exploded in Reddit forums. Players' voices were matched by TikTok detectives. Although everyone had a theory, one name kept coming up. Mabry Marina. Like wildfire, rumors proliferate. According to some, Mabry and Reese almost got into a fight during a recent workout. According to another, Reese abruptly left a team meeting a few days prior to the outburst. Then the greatest twist of all occurred. According to undisclosed insider information, some Sky players had quietly asked to be traded if the team would not appropriately discipline Reese. Yes, there was more than just league pressure. A mutiny broke out in the locker room. The Chicago Sky eventually broke their silence at that point. The official team account tweeted in a mysterious manner late at night, "We have the highest expectations for each and every one of our players. There will be changes soon. Keep an eye out." No names. No specifics. Enough to send the internet into a tailspin. Since the suspension, Angel Reese has refrained from speaking in public. Don't apologize. Don't deny it. No justification. There's a deafening hush. Because this is more than just a ban if the rumors are accurate and her teammates are betraying her. A full-scale implosion is about to happen. Will Angel defend himself? Is she going to be traded? Will the pressure cause the Sky to fall entirely? All we know is that a bigger thing is on the horizon. And what is about to happen cannot be stopped by anyone, not even Angel Reese. The question now becomes, where does this all go from here? Is this the last straw for Chicago's Angel Reese? Are her teammates actually done with her? Will the WNBA intervene and take a more significant action? Or will they allow this situation to worsen? There is no denying that this is no longer only a sporting story. This represents a complete collapse at the core of a faltering franchise. A renowned athlete was suspended, a revolting locker room, a coach going off course, and a fan base that is split in two. We would like your opinion. Is Angel Reese the target of unfair discrimination? Or have her actions finally reached a breaking point? If the Chicago sky expands around her, or ship her out before it all falls apart? Leave a comment below with your opinions. This is your chance to speak up, so don't be silent. And if you've made it this far, you already know. This is not the end of the narrative. Because there will be more leaks. There's more turmoil on the horizon. The WNBA as a whole might be rocked by the next turn of events. Thus be sure to subscribe immediately. The bombshell private meeting between Angel Reese and management and what she allegedly threatened if they didn't lift her suspension will be revealed in the upcoming video. Have faith in us. You're not prepared for the following step. Keep yourself locked in then. Because as the courtroom drama unfolds, every time, we have the whole story. See you at the following one.